I need to confess something. For the longest time, whenever a recruiter asked to see my portfolio or anyone at all, I would send them a link to my GitHub profile. And this is exactly what it looks like. I had some pinned repositories and just a few of my information here. I wasn't very proud of it, and I always felt embarrassed every time I sent it out. So I told myself, I need to totally change this. Hi there, it's Isi here, and in today's video, I will be sharing with you how I was able to build my portfolio website. So this is exactly what it looks like. I have the header here that just says my name and roles, and then a link to my LinkedIn, GitHub, my YouTube, and this is for downloading my CV. And then we have the about me that just has a brief information about me, and then projects here. The projects I have here are personal projects, not private projects. And then if you scroll down, there's the skills. And then if you click on contact, you have send me a message. And once a message is sent to me, it comes to my email. So we'll be building this together. I will show you step by step how I built it, and I'll also provide you with the complete template for it. And then I would also show you how to turn your GitHub profile, if it's blank or if it's like the one I showed you previously, into a more professional landing page. So if you've ever felt like your portfolio wasn't doing you justice, then this video is definitely for you. So let's get started. I already created a template for the GitHub profile. What I'm going to do is I will search for myself on here. Let's search for ECDBI. And it takes me to the template that I created, right? So once you search for ECDBI, it will take you there. But I'm also going to attach the link to every template that is going to be used in this video. So you can just check the description of the video and you'll see the link there. So this one is what I'm using first. So I'll go ahead to click on it. And this is what it looks like. So this is just a template. It doesn't have my information. You will need to go in and update it with your own information. And you see this part that says use this template. That's what you're going to have to click. And then I'll go ahead to click use this template. Okay, it says create a new repository and open code space, but I'm going to create a new repository. This is what you would see next. And this is a very crucial part. This bit that says repository name, you need to give it the same name as your username. So your username is just right here by the side. And then you can go ahead to type in the same thing. So that's what actually triggers it to show as your profile. See, GitHub even says ECAN is a special repository that you can use to add a readme.md to your GitHub profile. Make sure it's public, and it's very important that you use the same thing that you have here. You can go ahead to just describe it. I'm just going to put profile, but depends on you. You can go ahead to describe it with what you'd like it to be. And then you also have to make it public. Don't change it to private. And then create repository. So this is what it looks like for you. It will be the same thing, but then you'll have your own special name there. And then you can go ahead to make changes. So just as an example, I'm just going to make a few changes and then we'll see what it looks like. Let me just say, so when I do this, I'm just going to put EC here. And then it has comments at every particular point in time. So you can just look at the comments. So anytime you see this with an exclamation mark and 2 dashes, you know it's a comment, right? You can update it depending on you. So maybe I just wanted to put maybe data scientist, for instance. I don't want to have data analyst here. I'm just going to change this. So you see where it says lines equals to data analyst. I'm going to change that to data scientist. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to leave that as is. And then you see here, it says update these links with your own social media and contact information. So this part that says linkedin.com, you need to fix in your LinkedIn URL here. If you don't have a YouTube channel, you can get rid of this and add any other links that you would like to add. But because I have one, that's the reason why I have YouTube there. But you can always change it to anything you prefer. You can put your portfolio, for instance, here. You can do that if you would like that. And then here that says your email. So if I just change this right now. Let me just change it to my other email. So I'm just changing the email here. And then I'm just going to change it to, this isn't a real email. I'm just putting data@ec.com. And then you can get rid of this as well, or you can change it to any other social media information that you want to add on your GitHub profile. And then we'll go on to the About Me section. This is just saying I am a data analyst. I try to keep this as light as possible because you don't want to put all of the information that's probably already on your CV or on your portfolio. So you can either update this to what you prefer, or you can leave it as is. So here that says I enjoy. You can put like your passions there. So maybe I enjoy hiking. Let me just change that to I enjoy hiking. Yeah, this is for when you've already created the portfolio. You can come back here. This is part that says check out my full portfolio website, and then you change this to your portfolio website link. And then we move on to what I'm currently working on. You can just put a few of your projects that you're working on. And then here, currently learning, for instance, you might be learning maybe data modeling, and then you can just add that. And then we move on to the technical skill set. This one is just the different skill sets that one might have. So here I put SQL, Power BI, Excel. But let's say you're learning SQL and you're not yet advanced. You can just change this to beginner, for instance. And then for Power BI, you can change that to intermediate. So we'll also look at the changes when all that is done, and then just update it. So you have your SQL, Power BI, Excel, Tableau, and then you can go ahead to update them. It's the same thing here as well for programming and automation. So I did Python, intermediate, R, beginner, or you can just remove it. If it's just only Python you want shown there, then that's fine. And it's the same thing for business intelligence and analytics. So here we have statistical analysis. Then here we have experienced, intermediate, expert. So you can change it depending on your skill level. So once all of that is changed and you've modified the information to better suit you and your person, you can go ahead to click on commit changes. It says update readme.md. I'm just committing it directly to the main branch so that you update completely. Okay. It looks like you have the data scientist showing, then you have business intelligence, and I think some other taglines as well. And then we have your specialty here. So we'll need to change this, but let's just have a look at the other things that we changed here. So we changed the SQL here to beginner and Power BI to intermediate, and then you can go ahead to add all your own information on there. But let me show you how to change that your specialty to your actual specialty. So you just click on the pencil icon, and then can you see the bit here that says your specialty here? You would need to just change this. So if you put Power BI, for instance, it's just to Power. Before you put the BI, you have to use the plus sign. So plus, then we have BI, and then plus, let's say Power BI developer. And for this last one, we don't necessarily need it, so I'm just going to get rid of it. And then don't also forget to take out the semicolon here. And then you can go ahead to commit the changes. Okay. So let's look at what it would be like. So we have data scientist, then we have business intelligence, then we have turning data into actionable insights, and then we have the Power BI developer, and that's it. So you can just go ahead to update it the way you would prefer to. Don't forget to put in all your information once you commit the changes. So I'll just go to my profile and just look at what it would look like. So instead of that blank screen we had previously, anytime anyone comes onto your profile, they would see this first. Okay, and then you can go ahead to edit this, add your picture, put in your information. But this is just a nice, view to your GitHub profile when you provide information to people or recruiters. And now we'll move on to building the portfolio website, this one. So the thing is that there are a lot of amazing tools out there to build a portfolio. You can use no-code tools that are actually fantastic as well. Like, for instance, you have data science portfolio.io. You can use that. And you can also use Notion templates as well, like this one. They're really good for, when you want to get something up very quickly. But I decided to go with creating one using the GitHub Pages method just for one specific reason, and it's just to send like a subtle message to recruiters or anyone to make them aware that I am comfortable with using version control and Git, which is a very important skill in the tech industry. So it just shows that you sort of have a little extra technical initiative, while the others are really good. There's nothing wrong with using them. I just wanted to send a subtle message. So depending on you, you can go ahead to use those really fast no-code tools, or you can build one using the GitHub Pages method. This particular template just focuses on key areas. We have the header, which is very simple, and it's just like a digital handshake saying, hey, welcome to my portfolio. And then the about me to give some information about yourself. And then we have the project cards, and that's really the heart of the website. You're giving each project its own space and a preview image as well. So if you click on, for this website, if I click on documentation, it takes me to my GitHub profile where I did the documentation for this project. So this is the documentation I did for this particular project. So this is what we get, the Power BI report, and it's interactive as well. So if a recruiter or anyone just wanted to have a look at how your report works, they can interact with it. It's the same thing for the other projects that I have here. I would really advise that you shouldn't put like projects that you've done with your companies or clients on here for their privacy. It's just your personal project you should put here, and you don't have to put every personal project that you have. You can just put the ones that you think are more high impact or in the industry that maybe you're applying for a job for, basically. So the documentation for people to read, and then the dashboard to view. I did document my project on GitHub, and if you want me to also share the template for that as well, please let me know. But most of the time, I know people might have documented on Notion or anywhere else you've documented. I'll also show you how to link it to your Notion or Medium or any other application that you've used in documenting yours. So let's have a look at the template, and I'm going to show you the empty one so that you just see how it looks like. So this is what the empty template looks like. So it's just empty, it's not personalized. And then you need to update your own information here and update the skills as well. And then the send me a message part. So I made it a different theme as well. So you can change the theme if you like, or use this one. And lastly, I'll also show you how people can actually send you an email or a message. What I did was that I created my own portfolio as a template so that it can be as easy as possible for you to use. So I'm just going to the repository that I created. So this is it. I also add the link to the description so you don't have to go through this process. You can see here where it shows use this template. So it's the same thing. Just click on use this template, and then you create a new repository. Okay. Now, it's a different process as well, but very similar to how we did the one for the GitHub profile. For the portfolio, is almost the same thing. But for the repository name, you would need to use your username, which is, for me, ECAN, and then .github.io. So it has to be this exact way, this format. So your username .github.io, and then description, I'm just putting data portfolio here. So once I create the repository, now I'm also leaving that public so that I can click on the link. So just create repository. So now we have to start customizing it. You can, start from here. That's the README file, or you can just delete this and put whatever you like there. So I'm just going to change this here to maybe, let's do Jane Doe. And then the comments there already show you what you need to do. So you can go ahead to fill up this information based on your own information. And then I'll just commit changes here. Commit changes. And then you can see that it's no longer your name there now. It's Jane Doe Data Analysis Portfolio. So I'll go back to code here. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to begin with the index.html file, which has all the information here. So once you click on index.html here, you can either actually copy this to a code editor or just do it on here. I'm going to do everything on here so you don't have to go through that process. So edit this file. See the bit that says there's a comment everywhere, just so that you remember what to do. Here it says change the title to your name. So I'm just going to change this to Jane Doe. And then here, so you see this part here that shows PIA. That's sort of like my logo here. You also have to generate yours. I'm going to use this to create the icon that I want to use. So you see here, it says PNG to ICO, text to ICO, and emoji to ICO. So I'm just doing this, and then I'm going to do JD. Let's change the color. Let me use this. Oh no, I'll do white, and then maybe use this. So this is it, and then you can go ahead to download it onto your computer. They're just going to open that up. And this is the one that I'm going to use here. I'll go back here. You can see mine is already uploaded here, but if I wanted to add it, I would just go back to files and then I'll add it. I'll also show you that, but let's continue with this first. And then here's just major information, nothing for you to change. Anytime you see updates, then that means you need to make changes there. So you see update here, change to your name and title. So just change that to, let's change that to Jane Doe again. And then data analyst, Power BI developer. And then if you have any other title, let me just add data scientist here. Then you change that. But if your title is a data analyst and it's something else, you can go ahead to change this as well. Then you see update again, add your social media links and CV file. So here you just need to change this completely, including the square bracket as well to your LinkedIn profile. I'm just going to get my LinkedIn profile and add that. So I'm adding this here. So including the square bracket as well. So we'll change that to my LinkedIn profile. And then you can add your GitHub. If you don't have YouTube, you can go ahead to delete this as well. Once you change this URL here, you need to also change the title to the link that you're adding on there. And then the next thing we have is your CV. So just here that says assets, your CV.pdf. I'm going to also show you how to upload your CV on here and then how we can make the changes here. But usually we would keep it in the assets folder. And then you just change the name to the name that you have your PDF as so that people can download it or so that recruiters can download it. And then we have the about, project, skills. That's just the menu. Anytime you see updates, then that means you need to make a change. And then you have the change the image to your own profile photo. You need to update that in images as well. And then here it says write your own about me. So you can change this part and update it with yours, or you can leave it as it is. And then we have the project section. So project 1, it says update this with your own project, add as many as you like. So this is project 1. And then here you need to change the image. I'll also show you that here. And then you need to change the project title. Let me just put analysis here just so that I can show you. And then you put a brief description. Just make the changes right here. Let's just do analyzing data, but you're just putting your information. These are just filler words. And then here it says add link to your project code or documentation on GitHub. So if it's not GitHub you have, if it's Notion, you just need to change this part that says your GitHub URL and change that to the Notion or Medium link. And then this is your live dashboard URL for people to be able to interact with your dashboard. So that's for the project 1. You can go ahead to do that for project 2, project 3, project 4. But when we come to the skills section, you just have here Power BI, Tableau, Looker Studio, and the likes. You can go ahead to update your own information depending on your skill set. And then we have this one, the contact form section. You need to replace this part that says your email at example.com with your own email address, so that when people fill their information or when people want to send you a message, it comes directly to you. I usually advise that in the first instance, you actually test it yourself. So just put in some information, because you'll be required to go through a process so that other people can then begin to send you emails. So that's basically it. And then here, the last part, which is changing the year and your name. You just change this to your name. So I'm just changing that to Jane Doe. Okay. And I'm going to commit changes. Here, commit directly to the main branch, commit changes. And I will go to settings. In settings here, we go to pages. You see that the site has already been deployed 12 minutes ago. So this is the website, but let me refresh it because I just made a few more changes. It would refresh itself, but just triggering it a bit. You can see now that this has updated now here. So I'm just going to click on the link, or you can just visit site here. And you can see that I have Jane Doe, and all the information I put there has been updated. So once you click on LinkedIn, it takes you to LinkedIn. Let's try that. It will take you to my own LinkedIn, but yeah, you need to update yours. This is just a sample, and then the information here as well. So, and yeah, that's basically it. So, when we created this icon for your website, right? I downloaded it. I'm going to go ahead to add it now. This is the one that I had previously. I will delete this one because it's of no use to me here. So I've deleted it now. In order for me to add that, I can just either add the file here, or I can drag and drop, right? So I'm just going to, let's do upload files. And then you can either drag and drop, or you choose the file that you want. But I already have it here, so I'm just going to drag and drop it. So it's the same name as what I have in the HTML file. So I will commit changes. And then you can see it here. Also for the CV as well, it's usually under the assets folder. So once I click on assets, and then you can see I have sample CV here, but if you want to just add your CV, it's the same process. Just go ahead, add file, upload files. Either you choose the files or you drag and drop like I did for the image. Okay, let's go back. And then these images here are for like your profile picture. And then this is for your project, the images that you want to preview on your project. You can also add the other ones as well. So this is just one sample one I used here, but you can go ahead to add the others. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the index file now and just make changes here. This already has the name, right? But if it wasn't fave icon 32 by 32 PNG, you just go ahead to edit this file and then make the change. Just update the name here and here. For the CV, that's at the top here. Let me have a quick look. So here I have it as assets, your name CV.pdf. But if I change that to here, the name is sample CV.pdf. So I'm just going to change that now. So once we save it now, we'll be able to download the PDF, the CV PDF format, and then you'd also see that the icon has also changed. For the photos as well, here where you have the different projects, you need to then update it with your image. So we have the photos in assets, images, assets folder, then the images folder, and you just need to update the name to the name of your image. That's just basically what you need to do for that. And then the alternative text as well, you can update that to, let's say it was let's say it's healthcare analysis, just change it to healthcare analysis instead of project 1 preview. Once all of that is done and you've committed your changes, you just need to refresh and everything should be all updated. So once anyone clicks on download CV, it will download the sample CV or your own CV. But in this case, mine was sample CV. And then you can see here, instead of the PIA that was here, is now JD to represent Jane Doe's information. So that is basically it. This aspect, once you've updated your email in the HTML file, I would advise that you test it. So fill in you just type in test and send a message to yourself, because you get a prompt to just authorize it so that other people can start, sending you emails or messages. We have created a professional GitHub profile and a portfolio website. So taking the time to actually do this actually shows that you have attention to detail and you're serious about your career. I really hope that this was helpful. If you've enjoyed building this along with me, please give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. And then if you have any questions about this, please leave a comment. If you use this template, any of the templates that I shared, please tag me and let me know. I would like to see what you built as well. The link for both templates are in the description. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.